Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden. In today's video we are going to be going over 14 because I couldn't decide on just 10. That always happens. I feel like every time I want to make a top 10 I start making it and then I get too many and then I'm like, well, I don't want to take any away, so we just do the most random numbers of all time, which is probably the reason why my channel isn't growing. But hey man, it's gonna keep happening. I don't care. But the 14 cars that I think are the worst options for a new driver for less than $10,000. Obviously, I made a lot of videos before on which cars I think are great options for first-time drivers. Well, these are the 14 that I think are bad options for like a high schooler, college kid, whatever it may be, or even if you're 35 years old and you're getting your license just now. I don't judge. You know, I just don't think these are good options. Now, I'm not saying, I want to make this abundantly clear at the start of the video before I make anybody angry, I'm not saying these are bad cars. I'm just saying that they're bad cars for a first-time driver. Some of these cars I want to buy right now. Okay, like there are some cars on this list that I would love to own, but I just don't think they're going to be a good idea for, like I said, for a first-time driver. All for different reasons too. Some of them are unreliable, some of them are unsafe, some of them are just not good, etc., etc. Song of the day, by the way, is called Stay by the Kid Laroi. It is like from 2 years ago, but it's still such a freaking summer banger, dude. This song is so good. Is it sort of white girl music? Yeah, it's sort of white girl music, but is it good? It absolutely is, gosh darn it. Without further ado, let's get right into it with number 14 of the 14 worst cars for a first-time driver for less than 10 grand. And coming in at 14th place is one of the cars, like I said, that I would love to own right now. But it's the Honda S2000. The Honda S2000 is really here for one reason and one reason only. Well, okay, there's actually kind of two reasons. The first reason being that any S2000 you find under $10,000 is not going to be a good idea. It is going to be a project. You're going to need to put a lot of work into them. These cars sit around the $15,000 to $20,000 mark. If it's for 10 grand, there's a reason behind that. There's something wrong with it, or it's rotted out, or it's way too many miles, and that's obviously not a good idea for a first driver. But the other reason is this car comes with a 2.2 liter inline four, making 237 horsepower going to the rear wheels. It doesn't sound like too big of a problem. There are rear-wheel drive cars with 300 horsepower, like 350Zs, that people buy as their first car, and they're fine. But these cars, for some reason, do tend to have a very big learning curve in terms of like handling them. A lot of experienced drivers report back that the S2000 is a harder car to handle, even with only 237 horsepower. And coming in at 13th place, on the other hand, is going to the wonderful Pontiac Fiero GT. This one's on here for also two reasons. The first reason being the same reason I just said with the S2000. It's not the best for handling. As a matter of fact, my dad has a couple of these, and he's a pretty good driver. I always, every time I think about him, I don't think of him as a dangerous driver at all. And this is one of the only cars he's ever crashed in his life because it has snap oversteer. These cars are mid-engined, and any mid-engine car is going to experience some sort of snap oversteer. They come with a 2.8 liter V6, making 140 horsepower, and they are rear-wheel drive. And the other reason why I don't think you should buy a Pontiac Fiero GT as your first car is they're horribly unreliable. And not just unreliable in the sense where, oh, a transmission might break. These things catch on fire. Just like all the time, they're just like randomly burst into flames. So obviously that's not great for a first-time driver. And coming in at the number 12 spot is finally a car that isn't here because it's bad at handling. This car is not that bad at handling, but it's here for a different reason. It's the Nissan 300ZX Z31. I love this Z31. Another one of the cars that, as a matter of fact, every car we've gone over so far, I would love to own. But I still do think they're a really bad choice for a first-time driver. The car comes with a 3-liter V6, making 222 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. This one's really only on here for the fact that they're a pain to work on, and they're so old that they're just going to give you too many problems. I just think this is going to be way too stressful for a new-time driver. If you really want a Z, honestly, even the Z32 is a better option than the Z31, but I would still recommend going with what everybody else goes with, the basic ones, the 350Z. If you want a Z as your first car, that I think is just the best option for people right now, but I still think even that is probably not a good idea. Z's are just not good first car material. Alrighty, coming in at the number 11 spot, barely missing out on the top 10 there, laddie, is going to the Toyota Prius first generation. Realistically though, any Prius, literally any one of them. And this one's here for a completely different reason than any other car that we've talked about so far. But because it comes with a 1.5 liter hybrid inline four, as we all know, making 70 horsepower going to the front wheels. Obviously, that's not super fast. You're going to be very bored with your Prius. That's one good reason. But the main reason why I would not recommend getting a Prius for a high schooler, for somebody that's just getting into their first car, isn't reliability. No, these cars are very reliable. Isn't gas mileage. These cars are really good on gas. They are a little hard to work on because they are a hybrid, but that's not the reason why either. It's because these things are so hideously ugly, it's like friend repellent. I guarantee, obviously, the majority of people watching this looking for a first car are high schoolers or college kids. You want to socialize, okay? Those are your prime years, you know? Go out there, have fun, meet some people. It's gonna be hard to do that with a freaking Prius. Nobody likes Priuses. Coming in at the number 10 spot, however, breaking its way into the top 10, is not a car, actually, but a truck. And we're going back to the same reason why I don't think you should buy this with the Fiero and the 300ZX. It's just too unreliable. Trucks in general, I do think, are really good options for first-time drivers, but I would recommend one of the smaller ones. I wouldn't say mini truck, but, you know, one of those, you know, Ford Ranger, Toyota Tacoma style trucks over a full-size truck. And this one in particular is a Dodge Ram 1500 third generation. It comes with a 5.7-liter V8, making 345 horsepower, and it is 4x4. Now, I don't know much about trucks. I've said that multiple times on this channel, and I'll say it again, man. I'm not the biggest truck guy, but when I was doing my truck search, every single person, I liked these trucks because they're cheap trucks, and they look nice. I was thinking about getting one, but every single time I asked the truck guy if I should, they were like, no, those trucks have horrendous transmission issues. And it was, even the Dodge fans were saying it, where they'd be like, yeah, don't buy that truck. Everyone was saying that about this truck, and that's a problem. Most truck guys, they glaze their favorite trucks. So if a Dodge fan tells you it's bad, it's freaking bad. Don't buy this truck. It's gonna give you problems. Coming in at 9th place, this is gonna hurt some people's feelings for sure. This is gonna make a lot of high schoolers mad, as a matter of fact, because it's like their favorite car in the entire galaxy. The Mazda Miata NA. Yep, the cute pop-up headlights car, the TikTok car. You're gonna get your 500 followers on TikTok and tell your mom. This car, I don't think is one of the best first options out there. The car comes with a 1.8 liter inline 4, making 135 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. And this is what I mean, man. Like, you guys have seen me recommend buying a Miata for under 5K all the time, because I do still like these cars. But for a first time driver, no, I don't think it's a good idea, for the one simple reason being it's just so dangerous and too small, man. There's like, I don't know the exact statistic, but I believe it's more than 50% of new time drivers will get into an accident within their first year. 50%, man. You have a 50-50 shot of crashing, and if you crash in a Miata, it's a lot worse than if you crash in a freaking Volvo XC70. Okay, like it's gonna hurt, man, and there's a good chance you might lose your life. So this one's really here for a safety reason. Coming in at 8th place, also, I want to make it, again, abundantly clear for two things. One, I still love the Miata. That's why this video is so different from other ones, and I know people are going to misunderstand that, and I already can see the comments below from morons that can't listen. But I just want to make it really clear. I love the Miata. I still think it's a good car for how cheap it is. It is an incredible car, just not for a new time driver, okay? Please understand that. Either way, coming in at 8th place is the Subaru BRZ first generation. This car comes with a 2-liter flat 4, making 200 horsepower on the dot, and it is rear wheel drive. This car's not here because it's hard to handle. That's not the case. These cars are really easy to handle. It's not here because they're unreliable. That's not the case. They're very, very reliable as long as you keep it stock, don't turbo it. This car is here because of the same reason why the S2000 is here. It's for under $10,000, you are probably buying somebody else's project, salvage title. It's going to give you a ton of problems, and obviously you don't want that. You don't need that as a first-time driver. You don't need all that unnecessary added stress, so I would recommend staying away from it. And coming in at 7th place, realistically, I put these back to back because they're pretty much here for the exact same reason, but this one is a little bit, in my opinion, worse, but also better. Again, you guys, if you know me, you know how much I glaze this car. It's the Chevy Corvette C5. I always recommend these cars for how cheap they are. I think they are incredible deals for everybody but new time drivers, because of the same reason why the BRZ and S2000 are down here. For under 10 grand, the C5 Corvette that you're going to buy is going to need work, and it's not going to be a great one. It's, again, in the same price range as the S2000 and BRZ, $15,000 to $20,000. And so if you're finding one under 10K, that's probably a mechanic special, and you're not a mechanic at 16. I hate to break the news to you, man, but you just aren't. The car comes with a 5.7 liter V8, making 350 horsepower, and it is rear wheel drive. And that's the reason why I put it one spot higher than the BRZ. You do have a higher likelihood of actually crashing this thing. 200 horsepower compared to 350 horsepower is obviously a massive difference. It's going to be a little bit more dangerous for a new time driver to drive a C5. So again, still love these cars. You guys know that. Freaking, if you're a regular guy, yeah, buy a freaking C5 Vet. These things are awesome. But everybody else, stay away from them. Coming in at 6th place, kind of here for a multitude of reasons. Actually, it's not just one single reason. But it's going to the wonderful Toyota MR2 SW20. Again, another car that I've recommended multiple times because I do like these cars. Yet again, see how often that happens, guys. See, this is not a video of me saying I hate these cars. It's just a video of me saying I don't think you should buy them if you're a 16-year-old lad. The car comes with a 2.2 liter inline 4, making 135 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. This car is just a combination of pretty much everything so far that's been bad. First of all, if you're finding one under 10K, it's probably because it needs problems. Second of all, these are mid-engine, so they do experience snapovers here, like the Fiero GT, which can be a big problem. Third of all, they're not easy to work on because they are mid-engine. Fourth of all, they're really expensive to maintain and repair. Fifth of all, they're not the most reliable car out there. Sixth of all, they're very dangerous. There's really no real world where I think you should buy an MR2 SW20 as your first car. Any MR2 is probably a bad idea, but if you're gonna get one, if you need an MR2 for God knows what reason, get the new one, the MRS. I forget what the chassis code is on it, but get that one. Coming in at 5th place, gonna hurt some people's feelings with this one, again, because I always glaze this car on my channel, so people are gonna get upset. The Audi S4 B7. I always say the Audi A4 B7 is a good option, and I stand by that. The A4 is a good option. The S4, that's a little bit more risky, because this car, for those who don't know, comes with a 4.2 liter V8 making 340 horsepower, and it is all-wheel drive. The Quattro Audi all-wheel drive system, which is a good thing. The Quattro all-wheel drive system is very good. It's very forgiving. So why is it here? You know, it's a very good car to handle, right? Yeah, it is. It's very easy to handle. This car's engine is a ticking time bomb. That's the reason why it's here. It is a death trap of an engine. This car will blow up on you. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This car is going to die on you one day. And then on top of that, it's also here for kind of the same reason the C5 Vet and BRZ and S2000 have been here. It's hard to find these under 10K. If you're finding one under 10K, that means it's quite literally on its last legs. Like you have 10 miles out of that thing before it starts cranking hogs. I know cranking hogs wasn't the right phrase to use there, but I'm sticking with it, man. That's what it means now, gosh darn it. Either way, coming in at 4th place is a car I actually don't think I've ever recommended in any of my videos, because I've always just thought it was a bad option. The BMW M3 E36. I've recommended the E36 in a lot of my videos, but not the M3. 328i's, 325i's, 323i's. Yeah, those I think are still good options. I really do. I still to this day think those are good options. They're getting a little bit up there in price, but they're still great. The M3, not necessarily. The car comes with a 3.2 liter inline 6, making 240 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. It's, first of all, not actually as easy to handle as you would think. They are rear-wheel drive cars with 240 horsepower, so keep that in mind. But the main reason why this is here is this is like the freaking C5 Vet, BRZ, and S2000 to the extreme. If there's an E36 M3 for under $10,000, it is under 10 grand because it quite literally probably doesn't run. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, these cars are $20,000, almost $25,000 cars now. If they're under 10 grand, man, run away from that thing. Do not buy that. And on top of that, all they're just expensive to maintain, man. Coming in at 3rd place, finally another car that's here because of a reason that isn't because they're hard to handle or unreliable. The Chrysler PT Cruiser. This was my first car, for those who don't know, a little bit of Mark Roden fun fact, but yeah, my dad gave me one at 18 for completely free, and you bet your sweet bippy I'm gonna take a free car for, you know what I mean? I was driving it, even though I am a car guy, I knew how ugly it was, I knew how bad it was to own a PT Cruiser as a car guy. I was driving that thing loud and proud, gosh darn it, because my dad got it for me for free. Either way, the car came with a 2.4 liter inline 4, making 140 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. And the reason why I put it on this list is the same reason I put the Prius on this list, but honestly, even worse, you are going to get zero respect driving around in a PT Cruiser. Just keep that in mind, man. I was literally one time walking out of a restaurant, walking to my car, minding my own business, and there was a family that parked next to me and were laughing and pointing at my car. I'm not even joking. It was like a scene out of a movie of 90s bullies or something. I was like, what did I do to deserve that? The PT Cruiser is so horrendously ugly that I think it's just a bad social decision to get one of these as your first car. In terms of reliability, I actually haven't had a car that was less stressful to own than the PT Cruiser since the PT Cruiser, but still, I would never go back. They're just ugly. And coming in 2nd place, man, it's just like, ugh, I cannot believe it. This is why, I'm happy I'm a YouTuber, because I like to see, this is why I encourage people to leave comments, criticizing my videos sometimes, because I do get things wrong. And I cringe now when I go watch my old videos sometimes, and I see myself recommending the Chevy Cruz 1st generation to new time drivers, because I was so misinformed. These cars are horrible options. Do not listen to myself in the past. I used to tell you guys all the time, I think these are good options for first-time drivers, and I take that back wholeheartedly. The car comes with a 1.8 liter turbocharged inline 4, making 138 horsepower, and they are front wheel drive. There's really no selling point about the Chevy Cruz. There really isn't. And the worst part about them is they're horrendously unreliable especially for what it is. Like, this car has sports car reliability, but with like economy car performance. It makes no sense. It's literally like, imagine if you took a Toyota Corolla and just put like, I don't know, a Fiero engine in it. Like that's like what they did here. It was a horrible idea, and I apologize for my past mistakes. Honorable mention for today, ladies and gentlemen, is going to any motorcycle, anyone. I don't care if it's a 300, I don't care if it's a 600, I don't care if it's a liter bike. Any motorcycle is a bad idea for a first car. It's just stupid. I mean, why would you ever think this is a good idea? It just makes no sense. Obviously, the engines and horsepower varies depending on which bike you end up getting, but either way, dude, I mean, I don't think I have to explain this to you. Yeah, you're 16, but you're not a moron. They're motorcycles, man. They're obviously not a good idea. But I can't believe I have to say this. There are some people out there who I guarantee were probably thinking about doing it. Don't freaking do it, man. Your clout or whatever that you're thinking about is not worth it. Not only are they not comfortable and one of the worst daily drivers in that sense, but they're also literally probably going to kill you. Again, you have a 50% chance of crashing. Would you rather crash in a BMW X5 or a Yamaha R6? You're dying on an R6, buddy. Do not get on that. Sorry for the tough love at the end there, but man, I don't want to see you die, all right? Don't go on a bike as your first car. It's just stupid. Either way, coming in at first place is going to the Mazda RX-7 FC. Yeah, I think this is truly one of the worst options. At first, I had the RX-8 here, but then I was like, wait a minute, the RX-7 is just like even worse of an option, man. So I'm going to put this one here. It's the FC RX-7. The car comes with a 1.3 liter two-rotor rotary engine making 160 horsepower, and it is rear-wheel drive. Sounds cool, right? It is. It's super cool. I love the FC RX-7, and I want one so freaking bad. It's unbelievable. I would punch a toddler in the snot nose face for one of these things, man. But they're a bad option for first driver for multiple reasons. One, they're not the best at handling. Two, they're not the most fun out there. I know a lot of people think they're like one of the funnest cars in the world. Dude, you have to do a lot of work to these things to make them fun. And the reason why the FCRX7 is like remembered as a fun car is because of the turbo models. You're not buying a turbo one for under 10 grand. As a matter of fact, that's another reason why I think these are a bad option. It's hard to even find a base model that's worth it for under $10,000 nowadays. And then obviously the biggest problem with these cars is of course the fact that they are horribly unreliable. But do not buy one of these things if you don't know how to work on cars. Even if you do know how to work on cars, don't buy one because they have a rotary. It's a completely different thing. It's truly like, I mean, everybody says it online and you guys are probably like, well, how bad really is it? From what I can tell, and I've never owned one myself, but from what I can tell, they are not lying. These things are ticking time bombs, and when they do break, inevitably, you are going to have to spend a ridiculous amount of money and time in fixing this thing, which is obviously not ideal for a first-time driver. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the top 14 cars that I, Mark Roden, would not recommend buying as a first-time driver for less than $10,000. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see in the comment section down below. Check the links in the description for any of my other social medias, any of my other YouTube channels, or any of that great mumbo jumbo. And again, I just want to make it clear, even though I've said it like 4 times in this video, and I probably sound like I sound like a broken record. Yeah, I probably sound like a broken record now. I'm not saying these are horrible options for less than 10 grand for the average car guy. I'm just saying for first time people, okay? Please make sure you understand that before you comment something like, well, I've had my FCRX7 for 5 years. I'm 46. It's my 17th car and I've loved it. Like, yeah, you probably have because you know what you're doing. Okay? Do you think you would have loved that car if you were 16 though? I doubt it, you big dingleberry. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I gotta go today. I gotta cut the outro short because this weekend is Memorial Day weekend. I'm going up to my sister's house, and obviously I can't record when I'm up there, but I don't want to miss uploads. I'm locking in this year, man. So I'm gonna record some other videos right now for this weekend and line them up. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.